Alrighty, welcome back everyone. It is LaughNgamez here. I'm back with another Starcraft 2 1 versus 1 bot AI cast. We've got ourselves what should be a good one here today, as it's going to be, once again, the top bot, NegativeZero. It actually just reclaimed its spot on AIarena.net. Rank number 1 because it was submitted a little bit later than some of the other bots, and it does take a bit of time to climb the ladder, but it has reached back into position number 1. Now taking on NegativeZero is going to be a very fun to watch bot that I've cast on the channel quite a bit lately. It's ANIbot. Saying it's got a 5% confidence rating. However, those confidence ratings, I think they start at 5%, I want to say. But yeah, let's see how this one goes between these two. Ladies and gentlemen, you guys are the best at it. You always blow it out of the water. If we can get a like on this video, that would be amazing. Leave a comment down below saying more bots, as that helps us with the YouTube bot. Or just leave feedback for the videos. Let me know what sort of matches you want to see, whether you have feedback on the audio levels, that kind of thing. And then subscribe if you're not already subscribed. Hold on, as I'm just going to tab out for 1 second. There was something that I wanted to check. Okay, yeah, so this is actually going to be a bit of a special video that I'm doing, just because it's the last video I'm gonna be, well, it's the last video I'll be here for when it goes up, because I'm gonna be going away for a bit of a trip, getting married and then going on our honeymoon, so that's gonna be a lot of fun. But so I'll still be posting videos to the channel, and I'll just have a nice backlog going. That's why I've been recording a backlog, but I might not be as active as I was for that month in regards to actually responding to comments and that kind of thing. But yeah, that's just a bit of a milestone that I've been looking forward to. As yeah, let's see here. We do have a command center on the way for ANIbot, finishing up that nice natural base. NegativeZero going for a delayed expo based off what it scouted. I'm not sure what the thresholds are for NegativeZero to decide to expand, but whatever it saw there, it's okay delaying it a little bit. And that is understandably so, as NegativeZero tends to get away with going for a later expansion generally. It relies on good fights and that kind of thing, and then it can sort of make up the economic difference later on. And it's quite good at that, going for 3 gates off of 1 base, chrono boosting out units as well. Meanwhile, ANIbot just going for lots of Marines, going up to its, oh gosh, that is its 6 racks already on the way, which is a lot of Marine production. Now, we should be getting some tech eventually out of ANIbot, I imagine, as you will eventually need to get some sort of upgrades on your Marines or something to support them. Otherwise, these stalkers will be able to just kite those Marines endlessly, which would be problematic for ANIbot. And notably, there isn't any gas taken yet, which I will say I actually do like the lack of gas from ANIbot, because it's one of those things, like if you just skip the gas, build up your economy, sort of like QueenBot does, then you can have a nice economy, lots of production, and then take your gas and get your tech a little bit later. Now, ANIbot is still doing just that, building up its economy. Meanwhile, NegativeZero looks like it will finally be starting to expand. I do love that expansion timing from NegativeZero, where it throws that Nexus up right as it hits that 400 mineral mark. And then we do have the blue Protoss bot actually moving out, maybe going for a bit of an attack as it's crossing the map, heading towards ANIbot's side of the map, and this could be quite problematic for the Red Terran, as it does only have just Marines to respond to this. Now, if this was a human, I'd say, okay, maybe they can dance a little bit and jump on top of these stalkers and catch them, but I'm not sure that's going to happen to NegativeZero here. So we'll see as the blue Protoss comes on in towards ANIbot's natural The Stalkers doing a bit of a dance there, hyping themselves up to go in for the fight, and they do just that. Now ANIbot is going to have to respond to this. Oh, NegativeZero actually does path in towards the natural, though, not retreating. And so these Stalkers do get caught. Now they are taking a decent trade still, but they shall indeed be caught. The rest of the Stalkers noped on out of there. They said, sorry, you guys are on your own. So NegativeZero actually going in a little bit too deep and getting punished for it. Nice cleanup by ANIbot, losing only 10 Marines and 2 SCVs for 8 Stalkers and a Zealot. That is a darn good trade for ANIbot, and it's quite unfortunate, but that's just the way programming pathing works, in that sometimes units do get caught in pools. They decide to retreat one way, which prevents them from fully retreating. So the map definitely helping out ANIbot a little bit there. There's now a massive Marine count for the Red Terran. 31 Marines. Currently, NegativeZero just has 10 Stalkers going for +1 attack. That's going to be nice for the Stalkers, but the Blue Protoss is definitely behind here. So I think NegativeZero does need to kind of take a fight, and where it can sort of just kite against these Marines. Looks like ANIbot is trying to chase this one hallucinated Phoenix, which is kind of comical. Looks like some of the Marines are maybe moving out to secure another base or something like that. However, ANIbot does have a 3rd command center already done. It is now getting Stimpack. NegativeZero, meanwhile, just chugging along, doing its thing, adding in more Stalkers. It really does like its Stalkers. And then no +1 started up. No +2 started yet for the Blue Protoss. We do have these hallucinated Phoenix being sent out constantly, which is cool to see, so NegativeZero can keep getting that info and decide what it's going to do based off that. And we do have ANIbot moving out, maybe planning on getting a bit aggressive. ANIbot is kind of known for its sort of left-right attacks, but we've never really seen it done with bio before. We've seen like Thor hit squads. Now the Red Terran is coming on, and it looks like this bio may actually converge together at the potential 3rd base location of NegativeZero. They're actually passing like 2 ships in the night. There we go. They group up. NegativeZero has now seen these Marines outside its base, and looks like it will be looking for a fight. Stimpack is now done for ANIbot, and it's actually chasing down some probes towards the 3rd base with a chunk of the bio, whereas the rest of it is kind of just going for a big dive. So NegativeZero's 3rd base does get canceled. And did it lose many probes there? It looks like it actually lost about 6 probes to that dive from the Marines. The Blue Protoss does fire up a new 3rd base. Looks like it's looking for those Marines, and it might just miss them, which is quite unfortunate, as NegativeZero actually may get caught out a little bit here, as Marines of ANIbot are going in towards the natural base. NegativeZero sees this. It is pulling back these units. 1 Stalker is there to sort of try and buffer. However, a lot of probes are going down. Probes pulled into the fight against Marines with Stimpack is not a good thing. So the Blue Protoss actually loses a massive amount of units now. NegativeZero really is on the back foot, going down to 22 probes. That is big economic damage that's been done. Those Marines kill probes so darn quickly. Oh gosh, like 25 died there or something in just the blink of an eye. Now ANIbot is still continuously just pumping out more and more Marines here, but that positioning worked out very well for it. We do have NegativeZero going for a counterattack, and this may actually be the best move for NegativeZero. ANIbot, though, simply sending out more Marines for another hit squad. These Marines on the right are stimming weirdly. NegativeZero is moving in. It's finding lots more Marines that are defending this base. And it does look like it's actually electing to retreat here. Combat Shield finishes up for ANIbot. NegativeZero's 3rd base is now being hit. The Stalkers are coming back to deal with this. The Marines don't have medivacs to support them. The Stalkers, though, are kind of bogging up on this ramp a little bit, so it's not like flawless fights for NegativeZero. ANIbot simply has so much stuff coming in here, getting on top of these Stalkers. Cyclones getting added into the mix. I mean, the micro is very cool from NegativeZero, and this is what we want to see, shooting the Marines and retreating. However, ANIbot simply has so much bio based off its crazy economy, cleans out the third base of NegativeZero, and the blue Protoss just hasn't been able to recover. Those Marines are all so injured, they'll just be one-shot by each Stalker volley. However, Probes having to run for their lives. NegativeZero's army is coming back to deal with this. The problem is there's 13 Marines being made on the other side of the map. And yeah, NegativeZero getting knocked down to just 24 workers once again, losing its third base at 55 supply compared to its opponent. ANIbot meanwhile says start transition. What it's transitioning to, I'm not too sure. All in all though, things look very, very rough from NegativeZero. And yeah, just it's a bit rough for the blue Protoss. ANIbot looks like it may be clearing out a new expansion location. It has done a good job with its economy, just throwing up more and more bases, building 13 Marines at a time. I believe that is its production maxed. So it's actually floating 2,000 minerals in the bank. Getting some more gas mining, though, is important. And the Red Terran is now moving out with these hit squads. ANIbot has shown some very effective use, sort of run-bys or split armies, and that it has had some good success with it, notably because they usually seem to be groups that are big enough to get some real damage done, whether it be, say, the 3 Thors we've seen in other videos, or these groups of bio, which definitely can get some work done. Now, in comes ANIbot once again. NegativeZero is on the defense. It's got a Prism now to juggle these Stalkers, but the bio just stims on in. So many probes get killed during this, and NegativeZero is juggling with the Prism, but even if it cleans up all these Marines, there's more on the way. There is Medivacs now starting to support this, and NegativeZero doing some very cool micro-saving probes even with the Prism. But here we go. Now there is Cyclones and Marines coming in for round 2, and the Natural Nexus will go down. Just the damage. These Marines are either moving into attack or attacking just so quickly. And ANIbot will actually take the upset and win this match. Well done to the Red Terran bot. A couple of things definitely went its way. NegativeZero saying a textbook example of how not to win a game. Yeah, I think just losing those Stalkers early on was too much for it, as it meant, I don't know, its counterattack wasn't strong enough or something like that, because it did kind of come down to the positioning as well. Like, I'm not sure if NegativeZero had those Stalkers alive, it would have gone any better for it. But well done to ANIbot. And yeah, ladies and gentlemen, click that like button, leave a comment down below saying more bots if you want to see more of these bot matches. Subscribe to the channel, join the Discord. And yeah, I know some people, or well, not really anyone, just I know it is kind of a thing that I do tend to cast more losses for better bots on my channel than wins. That's because they're more interesting to sort of see what went wrong for a good bot that normally performs incredibly well than it is to almost watch them just stomp their opponents like they do 90% of the time, which is the case with NegativeZero. Most of the time it just crushes its opponents. So this game is kind of a bit of a one-off, but very well done from ANIbot. I definitely look forward to watching it play more. Now we are going to rewind, because I do want to kind of analyze this game a little bit deeper. As, like, losing those Stalkers definitely did hurt NegativeZero, but I'm not sure it even would be any different had those Stalkers not died. Like, yeah, it loses the Stalkers. And then ANIbot, I guess it goes for its stim attack at some point. And NegativeZero, So if we slow this down a little bit, ANIbot's out here with all its Marines. NegativeZero has lots of Stalkers, so it kind of, then it sees that this is coming. And the Marines, they're gonna go finish up their stim pack, go Leroy Jenkins. The bio stimming in, like, these Marines didn't get really much done at all. I mean, a few probes did go down, but it's more about positioning in this game than it is about numbers. Like, if NegativeZero had those extra 8 Stalkers, maybe it would have been more aggressive and decided to attack ANIbot again, so it wouldn't have been on the defense, but it really was just the positioning. The fact that some of the Marines went for the natural, some of them went for the third. And then on the follow-up, NegativeZero is out of position here, which it very well could have been. So I'm not... It would be interesting to see that same game if NegativeZero didn't lose the Stalkers, but I'm not sure it was because it lost those Stalkers. It very well could have been because NegativeZero's movements might have been different had it not lost them. But still, very entertaining game nonetheless. Thanks so much, everyone, for tuning on in. I'll see you guys next time.